Welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, the GJA, the Ghana Journalists Association, has set a tentative date for voting this year. The 29th of September will be confirmed later tomorrow. But ahead of that, there is already various movements snowballing on social media, Facebook especially. There's a bit of trolling, especially following a statement released by the association, which many have described as a gagging attempt on journalists. 3 persons are vying, of course, for the association's presidency, including the incumbent, Alfred Money included. This afternoon, we're focusing more on what alternatives of leadership exist for Ghanaian journalists. We'll be profiling each of them here on the show. Lloyd Evans is my guest for today. And I'm going to welcome you warmly, sir. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's interesting I don't know how many times you interviewed people and how many times you've been interviewed since you decided that you wanted to be the president of the GJA, and how it feels, you know, the dynamics of the shifting. Exactly.
Well, I've been interviewed a couple of times, both on TV, on radio, and
how does it feel?
Print. Oh, I took it very normal.
Very normal.
Because I've done it over the years, so
okay.
I didn't see any.
It's not a big deal for you. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to look at 2 issues, 2 key issues. One is about the fact that you're vying for the presidency of the GJA, what you bring on board, and why Ghanaian journalists should actually pay any serious attention to you. And then we'll also look at what's happening within the GJA, especially regarding the statements over what my colleague's story. First of all, why would you say Ghanaian journalists should take you as a person seriously for the GJA's presidency?
Thank you very much, Gifty. In actual fact, I didn't even come on board on my own evolution.
Okay.
If I would say I was pushed from the Institute of Financial and Economic Journalists, because they saw what we are doing and the hallmarks that we've been able to achieve.
Okay.
And a few of them contacted me asking if I can come over to help a sinking ship. You know, it took a while.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, fine, let me come over.
All right.
So I'm coming on board with a vast experience in leadership. I've been the president of IFEJ, that is Institute of Financial and Economic Journalists, for some time, and we've done a great deal of stuff. And they think that the GJA should be given a new lease of life. Okay. And they felt like I have the capacity to really take the water out of this sinking boat, so that we can, reafloat, if I can use that word. Yes. Okay.
So you speak about sinking ship.
Yeah.
So the GJA for you, as it stands now, is a sinking ship.
Sure.
What is the water in the boats that's making it sink? What is it that's making it sink?
Yeah, over the past 12, 15 years, we haven't seen this caliber of GJA, leaders before. And when I was very young and coming up, the GJA was very, very vibrant. A lot of activities were organized. The leadership supported us in diverse ways. They were always solidly behind us, whatever we do. But over the past 10, 12 years, that has not been the case.
What sort of support are you referring to?
We had training support. There were external training programs for journalists, internal training support. We hold regular meetings. There were evening functions that we come together with other stakeholders. There was that sort of networking.
Mm. You were a member of the GJA.
Yes.
You have been actually
a member of the GJA.
What is it that you did to salvage a sinking ship when the floor wasn't open for people to vie for positions? I don't know whether you were there, you were at the last AGM, but at each AGM, I always speak about how the association is being run, and I've done that for 5 consecutive times. Okay. 5. And what was the response?
Nothing.
What did you say, and what response did you expect?
Now, one, I was still, I said that, look, for you to be independent, we must look at how we ourselves generate funds.
Okay.
Can we look at our internal fund generation mechanism? What can we do extraordinary so that we make the GJA a little bit attractive. How can we leverage our clout so that there will be a little bit of respectability of the GJA, and nothing happens? And this is not the first time, this is the second time. I've said it time and time and again. 4 to 5 times. At the last AGM, I said so. Again, that look, we have what it takes to generate our own resources. I even cited an example. Look at the yard. We have a very big compound. Can't we even ask media houses to even put billboards there at a little fee, monthly, so that even if there's a program there, and Joy TV is there, and you want to interview someone, you can just take the person to that banner, your own banner, and then interview the person there. I mean, can't it generate a little bit of revenue for us? What about the outside fence? Can't we get institutions like the telecoms, the big time companies, to do a little bit of adverts there so that we can generate funds there? Nothing.
So your issues were that the GJA was not attractive to journalists, the GJA was unable to leverage its clout, like you say, the GJA was unable to, you know, look at internally generating funds. The GJA's leadership, you say, wasn't vibrant enough. Those are the key concerns that you had with the GJA. People have raised, before I even get there, let me ask about what your plan is. What is your strategy? What are you bringing on board? Take us through it.
Well, the first thing that we have to do, or I will do with my team, is that we must look at our constitution again. Our constitution, as it stands now, doesn't fit for purpose. If our constitution, you know, is a little bit vibrant, the issue of disqualification, going to court, all these things would have been sorted out. But we have a very weak constitution. So I'll look at it, you know, firstly and foremost, the constitution. Then again, you know, it's very strange. For more than 20 years, we don't have a Greater Accra branch of the GJA. So the executive acts as Greater Accra executive, and at the same time, national executive. And I think it's very, very absurd.
Okay.
One of the second thing that I will do is bring the Accra branch back.
Okay.
The Greater Accra branch will have to be instituted so that they take care of Accra. Then we, the national executive, will take care of the 10 regions.
Okay, so that they can concentrate.
They can concentrate
on the other regions.
Of the other,
okay.
You know, of the other regions.
Right.
Now, one of the key things that I'll be doing is that each region will have to come up with a workable plan. You have to develop a work plan. If you don't do it, you don't have the resources. And it is my wish that at least for nothing at all, each region should come up with 4 clean, distinctive, doable, workable plans that we can support. We in Accra will not initiate anything for any region. The region must think outside the box.
And if they don't?
Well, we'll whip them to line. And they will see what the other regions who are doing will be getting.
When you say you whip them to line,
exactly
what's...
No, in terms of we'll be drawing their attention, meeting them constantly, telling them, and if the leadership of the region is not acting professionally or doing what it's supposed to do, the members have the right to kick them out.
Okay, so
we will support that.
Right. So we're looking at constitutional review under Lloyd Evans' leadership, constitutional reviews, the revival of the Greater Accra region branch, and then workable plan from the regions. Anything else?
Yes. One other thing that we will do is, which is very dear to my heart, 2 things. One is to come up with a group insurance for all journalists. Group insurance.
Okay.
Now, our workplaces, we are not getting that insurance. So it will be very, you know, appropriate if we as an association have a group insurance for our members. 2, we can talk about the details later.
Right, I actually wanted to find out the kind of insurance that you speak about.
It's group insurance.
Okay, and is it for general?
For journalists, for the members.
Right.
So if you are a member, we take a group insurance on your behalf.
So you can do an insurance for, say, coverage of elections. So you can do insurance for,
No, it's a general election. So whatever happens, you know, on you are still covered. Not necessarily for elections. You know, it's a group insurance and it covers anything.
Okay, then the second one was?
And the second one is to come up with a 25 million Ghana cedis Ghana Media Fund. You'll be surprised. I took a group of 15 journalists to Tanzania. And we realized that they have a Tanzania media fund. And it was organized by the journalists themselves.
Right.
And they have $13.5 million, not cedis or shillings, media fund. And they are using it appropriately. What are they using it for? For investigative journalism and for public interest journalism. For investigative journalism, I know you know what is it. And for public interest journalism are the issues that borders on social issues, education, health, pushing journalists to the hinterlands, to inaccessible areas for them to come out with stories, articles, documentaries, for the state to see that all is not well in the region.
And then they act. I see.
These are the two keys which, if for nothing at all, will be my legacy.
That you want to make sure you achieve before you get out of office. It's a very interesting list, and you do talk also about investigative journalism. Since you mentioned the 25 million Ghana Media Fund, let me find out from you what you know about a certain media fund that was a certain amount allocated then under the John Mahama administration to journalists.
Well, the 2 million.
Right.
Here is a 2 million or so. And what I heard was that it was used to purchase laptops and distributed to journalists and media.
Did you get any of those laptops?
Yes.
You did?
Yes. And I had one, I was there and, it was brought to me in my office. And I said, where is this coming from? I said, oh, the GJA said it should be given to me. What for? Well, it's part of media enhancement programs. That was okay, fine. And
it took care. What did you?
It was later that I got to know that it was part of the 2 million, and I said, how can we use?
So after you heard that, okay, I took a laptop, and that laptop actually comes from a certain media fund that was being run, so to speak, by the information ministry, and that you got. So you've become a part of those who use that money. Once you received that laptop, what did you do when you realized that this was supposed to be a media fund, knowing very well that perhaps at the time you had at the back of your mind that a media fund would work for the Ghana Journalists Association?
You see, these questions came up, but now as you started asking more questions, you were not getting any answers. So over a time, as we all do, you just let it go. And then
what questions did you ask, and what answers did you get specifically?
If I could remember, it's part of the training program, it's part of retooling journalists, and this was the first time I quite remember some years back when we had Miss Joyce Ayi as the Minister for Secretary for Information. They made available to media houses tape recorders,
so you thought that it was part of
yes, as part of. So these things, it has happened before. That's why I'm taking you back into the PNDC days. At that time, I doubt how old you were.
I wouldn't know either.
Yes.
But then, didn't you think that you could have done more when you realized that this laptop that you got was part of a bigger fund that was supposed to support Ghanaian journalists?
It was later, way back. Then when questions started coming up, then we realized that it was part of. I said, it was a wrong deal.
But did you follow up to find out what then happened to that 2 million, even after they've given out laptops?
No.
You did not follow up.
No.
Is this something you'd want to take up at this point?
Oh yes, sure. I mean, we'll take it up and we'll see how we can end up with. But as we normally say, you get to a point and you see that it's a bad deal, you just write it off.
It's a dead end.
Yes.
Okay, we've run out of time, unfortunately, but let me quickly, because we're dealing with free SHS, but here I have the Ghana Journalists Association's press release. It says GJA on anti-corruption crusade, and I'm not going to read too much of it. It says, we wholeheartedly applaud the courageous manner which some of these cases are pursued in fulfillment of the media's constitutional obligation to hold to account people in positions of power and responsibility. At the same time, the GJA urges extreme caution and circumspection in order not to pronounce certain people guilty in the media, whereas no court of competent jurisdiction has even tried them. And I believe that you're aware of the content of this particular release. It's been talk of town so far. What are your thoughts?
Well, for me, it's an unfortunate statement. It shouldn't have come up at this time of the day. This is the first time that a journalist has pursued, corrupt, stories, and for it to come out at this time of the day, I think it's not in good taste.
If you say at this time, you're talking about timing. Which of the timing are you dealing with? Is it the timing for the GJA election or the timing for journalists? Why is it not? Does it mean that if it came at any other time, it would be okay?
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that the timing is that if, for example, you've met a group of journalists and you have, say, a workshop, and questions are being thrown in and out, without any specific example or person, you just, because we have what we call trial by newspaper, which we all, do not take that, and you are teaching journalists that there's this trial by newspaper, we don't do this, try to talk about ethics, then probably you can say it in general terms, but to narrow it and then as if someone is doing something wrong, pursuing somebody. That's why I'm saying that the timing is not good, the content is not good, the presentation is not good, and I don't think it, it's a step, it's a very good,
I see.
That is my.
So in principle, you would say that in principle, what the message they're trying to convey, in principle, is okay. But when it is limited to or narrows down to a group of media organizations or to a certain, seems to be hitting at a particular story, then you
have
a problem with that one.
You have some, that's why I'm saying that this is very scandalous. As if that person is doing, I don't know how to say, but doing something very, very untold. But these are classroom things that you are told not to take bribe, you are told that when you are writing a story, you must get all the elements right. So these are classroom things that probably you can say it in a class without, but to narrow it and then as if that reporter or that media house, is doing something untold, for me, it's unfortunate.
The man you're contending with in this particular election, who is also the incumbent, Alfil Money, has come under a lot of criticism, especially on Facebook. And you could say that, I mean, if you're doing a bit of political tactics, you could say that works for you because he's obviously your opponent. But do you think that people are justified in the way they seem to be trolling him, for instance, on social media?
Well, they are justified to a large extent because Alfred Money has been there for nearly 12 years. And if he has anything to offer, by now he should have offered them long ago, and he came under this barrage of attacks, in different forms. One, the death of the journalist, trying to talk for government, which was very unfortunate. The smashing of someone's, recorder. And there's a third one now, trying to pinpoint, as if a journalist has taken some money somewhere to destroy another person, which again is unfortunate. So there's a lot of things that he has done and said which didn't go down well with the descending Ghanaian journalists. So essentially, you're saying they're justified? They are justified to a large extent. That they can,
Do you say this as a matter of principle or because he is your contender?
I have not necessarily as a contender, but as a matter of principle. In fact, IFH wrote a very hard statement at the death of this chap, but we were compelled to drop it because we heard that the GJA is taking it up vigorously.
But after the GJA took it up vigorously and did not do what you thought it should have done, what stopped the IFED from still proceeding with your hard statement?
Yeah, not that we stopped, but we were pushing for this issue, and we were told that, oh, government has taken it over, and nothing happened till today. So, you see, when you have a much bigger organization, you have to look up to that, organization. We are just a subsidiary, if I can say.
But, so then what would you say to someone who will listen to what you have just said and say that, well, if you have showed at IFED that you could drop issues, I mean, someone died, a reporter died on the job. So, and I remember that day very well, was sitting right here and I got the news. And this was my colleague because I was a presidential correspondent. So it was very hard for me. What then do you say to those who will say then, that from what you have said, if at IFED you could not push further, and that was when perhaps a stronger leadership was needed. So if you could not push further at IFED when a human being has died, then why should we trust you with GJA? No.
You see, that's what I'm saying, that we have a leadership, and you should not be seen to be, fragmenting your strength, but you must give support to your leadership. And we tried as much as possible to give that support to that leadership.
But you still had chances to go back after they did not do what they thought they should have done.
Well, probably we might have that chance, but you still have to push, because you see, as they say, divided before, united we stand. So it was will to push that issue forward, and we tried as much as possible, but the leadership did not probably take it.
Mr. Evans, I have a lot of questions, but unfortunately we've run out of time. I have a personal stake in this, of course, because I'm a member of the GJA and I'll be voting. So I have a lot of questions on my mind, but unfortunately time will not allow us. If I were to put you alongside the three others, Alfred Money and Mr. Aite, Johnny Aite, GBC, what is it that you think you have that these two people don't have, that for which reason we should vote for you?
Yes, I have determination to do things. The determination to do things. Satisfaction is not in my dictionary. If I take a decision to put certain things forward, I go all out. And I would prefer to do that thing and fail than failing not to do it. Let me do it and let me fail. I can say that, yes, I tried coming up with an insurance cover for journalists or members. I went this far, but because of this bottleneck, I failed. I prefer that way.
Okay.
So somebody else can pick the pieces up, refine it, and probably get that. We build bridges. We build blocks. So I prefer, and that is the character in me. And I have that, and I have that strong will that when I told a group of journalists, look, we are doing this program, it is my wish and my desire that at the end of the day, I will pick about 15 or so journalists who haven't made any travel outside the country before. Take them out to an African country or whatever. They thought I was joking, and I forced my way, and I was able to achieve, and they were shocked.
They were shocked. Well, we'll see how it goes. But before I let you go, I just remembered something quickly, please. And that has to do with strong leadership, whether or not you possess that strong leadership skill from your experience at IFED. And I'm saying this in relation to what happened. You just said that united we stand, divided we fall. To indicate that when you try to take up the issue of Nyama's death, you back down because the GJA was taking the lead in that. You didn't want to divide the association, so you did not. But in recent times, you are one of the people who took the association to court.
Yes, sure.
And this was because you had a personal interest. What do you say to the people who say that you did this? You almost divided the association because you had the personal interest. But when a human being had died, a reporter had died on the job, you did not because you wanted to keep the unity in the association.
Interesting. If you have an institution which always puts bottlenecks and people cannot move, obviously at a point you have to
get tired.
Get tired, and then yes, I had to take the GJA to court because, one, the very constitution that we were operating in has been violated in so many ways. Two, here we have an election committee which disqualifies certain people. The people made an appeal. They won the appeal. The next line of action for the election committee was to continue the process.
Okay.
But they decided to do otherwise, against the will of the appeals committee. We made intervention. Why are you reopening nominations? Nothing was heard. Why are you reopening nominations? Nothing was said. Why are you reopening nominations? 5 times.
Nothing was said.
Nothing
So
was.
you basically had it.
So enough is enough. So if you are not responding to our request, then we will have to take it to a higher authority.
Okay.
Therefore, we had to go to court. And when they agreed that, okay, we will talk to you, then we say, okay, then we'll come out of court.
Out of court, okay. Okay. Mr. Lloyd Evans, thank you so much for coming to the studio. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And we ultimately wish the GJA the very best so that, I mean, journalists in this country could be taken a bit more seriously. All right, thank you very much. Lloyd Evans is a contender. He wants to be president of the Ghana Journalists Association. Well, you've heard him. Does he convince you? Does it work for you? Do you think that Lloyd Evans at the helm of affairs will make the GJA any attractive and would give it the clout that, you know, authorities, government, etc. would respect? That's the conversation we're having. We're having all of them this week, hopefully, and we'll be able to get you the answers that you require as journalists.